The rooftop of the world, the Arctic.
I'm standing on the northern shore of Baffin Island, high in the Canadian Arctic. And this surely has to be one of the most inhospitable regions of the world. And yet, there are people who live here all year round, making their living from the wilderness.
Baffin Island straddles the Arctic Circle. Winter temperatures plummet to minus 50 degrees. That's 30 degrees colder than your average home freezer. Yet for more than 4,000 years, people have lived from the land, using traditional knowledge perfected through generations.
In this program, I'm going to be exploring the survival skills that have enabled native people to survive in the polar regions. Even here, modern tools of convenience, like the snow machine, are reaching in to change the way of life forever.
30 years ago, the Inuit people of Baffin Island were persuaded by the Canadian government to move into communities like Pond Inlet, where schools were provided. Now, although this modern life seems easier, it's expensive. Every nut and bolt has to be flown or shipped in when the weather is good. So most of the Inuit who live here must still hunt to feed and clothe their families. I've come here to hunt with them and learn the skills that their ancestors have passed down. The first thing that strikes anyone about this region of the Arctic is the sheer barrenness of the landscape. It seems incredible that any human being can live here at all. But like all wild places, the secret to survival is learning how to look into the wilderness rather than just at it. And the Inuit are expert. Here, every hunter must be able to navigate in a land where compasses can't be relied upon, make water from a frozen desert, and most importantly, build shelter where no natural shelter exists. They use what's available, snow. Here it's 2 feet deep and hard packed by the wind, so it can be cut into blocks. They look like polystyrene, and they sound like it.
There's a knack to this, and I haven't got it. Better hide that one before the Inuit come back. That's more like it.
There are no plans or even a tape measure. The size and the shape of the igloo is judged totally by eye. The first few blocks are the most crucial, and Ham Cadlu, the eldest and most experienced builder, lays them, carving with his snow knife. These knives used to be made of caribou bone, and although steel has replaced them, they're still treasured tools.
See, Ham here is working away with the snow blocks, seating them in really carefully so that they lock tightly against each other as a ring of snow blocks spirals upwards. Each piece has to lock into 3 places. It's got a lock here at the top, at the bottom and the other edge. So he makes these careful cuts as he goes, making nice surfaces to fit. Then he's going to pound it into place. Like that. Okay, so the blocks are actually lodging against each other and holding themselves up. And of course, in the course of time, the ice crystals and the snow will stick together like super glue. When this is finished, you should be able to stand on top of it.
It only took about 45 minutes for the 3 hunters to build this igloo, and they live in it while they're hunting on the ice. But in the past, whole families could spend the winter in one, not much bigger.
It's not as easy as it looks.
The skill of the builder is to make the blocks lean at just the right angle, and then, like painting himself into a corner, he ends up inside the igloo, having to cut himself out.
Architecturally speaking, the igloo is the only arch in the world that can be built without an internal support to start with.
As it's only 30 years since the Inuit left the land and moved into towns, many older people like Ham still know and use the old ways.
So Ham, what is it you're making for us?
I'm making a seal lamp that used to be used for heating our homes.
Traditionally, kudliks were made from carved stone. Now, with typical adaptability, they're made from metal, which is stronger and lighter.
And you can use this also, I guess, as a shovel, if you had to.
Yeah, and igloo and...
When you're in the igloo and there's too much snow inside, you can use the kudlik to put the snow outside, like that.
So you could shovel the snow outside of the igloo with it?
Yeah.
So it's got more than one use?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Kudliks work like candles, except they burn seal blubber instead of wax. Before the arrival of gas lamps, they were the only source of light and heat inside an igloo, and they're still used today because they've got no working parts to go wrong.